Poštovani gledatelji, dobar dan i dobrodošli, gledate emisiju Diplomacija. Naša današnja tema su diplomatski odnosi između Norveške i Hrvatske, naša još bolja suradnja i naravno sličnosti i različitosti između ovih dviju zemalja. Moj cijenjeni gost je veleposlanik Kraljevine Norveške ovdje u Hrvatskoj, njegova ekscelencija Haakon Blankenborg. Your Excellency, thank you for taking the time for this show and welcome.
It's a pleasure, thank you.
Norway and Croatia enjoy excellent bilateral relations. They were established on the 20th of February 1992, so that means that this year we have celebrated 30th anniversary of our relations. Croatia has an embassy in Oslo, and of course you have embassy here in Zagreb, but you also have honorary consulates in Dubrovnik, Rijeka and Split. How would you describe our relations today?
The relations are very good and becoming closer and closer, including more and more activities. It's business, more and more business. It's very good, especially in the maritime sector, partly in energy. We have students, Norwegian students in Croatia, which is a very good signal. In Split, we have some 50 to 60 students studying medicine for 6 years. That's a good signal. Of course, we have all the tourism that you have from all countries. So we are coming closer and closer in more and more sectors.
We'll talk about tourism and education later, but let's stick to the politics for now. Norway has always been cooperating closely with Croatia with the goal of contributing to our economic and social progress. You have also been very supportive of our Euro-Atlantic integration. Croatia is about to become a part of the Eurozone and hopefully Schengen. Do we have your support in that process as well? And do you think that these entries will change our relations? In what way?
Of course, it will help. It's already very close because we are partners in Europe. Norway is not a part of the European Union, but we are a part of what is called the European Economic Area. So we have the same market. So going to Croatia for a Norwegian to have a job, it's like going to whatever European Union country. And for Croatians going to Norway, it's the same. And it's easy for business because we are in the same market. Euro will help because it's a big currency. We have our own currency, but it will help. It makes it easier. Schengen will help, mainly for practical reasons, because you don't need the border control for the passports. So it all will help. So we are partners in Europe, coming closer, and it's also important that we are allies in NATO. That's very important in these days that we are allied. So last summer, to mark the 30th anniversary of our diplomatic relations, we had His Majesty the King's Guard, a military unit, going to Croatia to mark this. So they had the performance drill in Split and in Zagreb. Very, very nice performance.
I believe it was. It was this summer?
This summer in June, yes.
Amazing. Besides from that, we have some issues that are very interesting to both of our countries, considering environmental protection and green transition. The Joint Committee for Bilateral Cooperation has published its first call for initiatives focusing on green transition. It's called Strengthening Bilateral Cooperation Between Croatia and Norway in Green Transition. What is it about? Can you tell us more about this?
It is a kind of an open call, so limited only with these very vague keywords on green transitions. So here it's now up to universities, to public institutions, to come up with the good applications which can fit into this, and then the ministry, together with us, will look into this. But in addition to this, we already had under this EEA funds several programs with the same purpose. One is on energy, and that's focusing on geothermal energy, mainly in the east of the country. It's focusing on zero-emission buildings, energy saving, and energy from sea. And we hope that we can do more on this together, because all countries need now both to save energy and to produce new energy. And we are also looking into other sectors for green transition, where we can do this together jointly, and trying to have partners in Croatia and Norway. Could it be business or universities or what to work together for the same purpose.
And what are those other areas that we are looking to
we are
collaborate?
Planning to look deeper into fish farming, both for environmental reasons, but also for business reasons. We are planning to look into more eco-friendly coastal traffic, electric, hydrogen, and more into renewable energy. As examples.
Yes, we talked about this before the show, and you mentioned that our sea, the Adriatic Sea, is quite good and convenient for those kinds of...
Yes, the experts say so. I cannot say, but the experts say that it's a big potential for Croatia if they want. Of course, there are conflicting interests in this, but if one wish, it's a big economic potential as well for both fish farming and energy production.
Besides the things we just talked about, so green transition and environment, cultural exchange is something that is also important in our cooperation. How do you see our cultural heritage and what do you know about Croatian culture?
Of course, I could know more about Croatian culture than I do, because now I'm here mostly to promote Norwegian culture in Croatia. But as I've been a frequent guest in this country for so many years, I think I have some impressions, and I could mention one in arts, where the National Theatre here in Zagreb and one of the theatres in Oslo are working together. Every second year, one from Norway come and set up a theatre piece in Croatia, and one to Norway. So when your famous director Ivica Buljan was in Norway some years ago, and he set up Kraljevo, that was a big kind of event, and it's one indication of cooperation. And for me, as for the last 30, 40, 50 years, I would say I've been around. So listening to Croatian music, that's kind of normal. So Arsen Dedic, Oliver, and everything. That's a part of my background. And my wife always put on Petar Grašo when she's at home. So it's a lot of Croatian in the home.
Okay. And how about Norwegian culture? How would you describe your culture?
You know, the heritage, as we started, it is a bit different and almost similar. History is very different. Mainly because you have a much more ancient history than we have, and Croatia is located in a turbulent part of Europe because you are in the middle of Europe. We are in the north, so if you pass through Norway, you fall into the Adriatic or into the Atlantic Sea. But here you have Europe everywhere, so you're at crossroads, and so this more turbulent history is in a way also a richer history when it comes to heritage. So we both try to cultivate the history and traditions, but for these historical reasons, they are also different. But what we also focus on in both countries, and which is a part of the heritage, is of course the nature, mountains, sea, and everything. We are both maritime nations, so everything with the sea is important for both of us.
Besides culture, tourism is also something that brings us closer together, with Croatia being one of the most famous and popular tourist attractions and destinations for Norwegians every year. How would you describe these touristic dynamics between our countries? What is your favorite part of Croatia, and what do Croats say about Norway?
I'll start with what the Croats say about Norway. That's of course very different depending on what they have read or where they have been. What is, I think, correct is that it's a pretty expensive country for foreigners, not so expensive for Norwegians because it corresponds with salaries. And kind of, if I should take two words more, it is order and organization, and it's the climate. I think exaggerating how cold it is in Norway.
Okay.
When it comes to tourism, this is not decided exactly by where would you like to travel, but where are the airplanes going. And For both these reasons, because it's attractive and because most flights are going, Split has become the hub for Norwegian tourism, and it was Dubrovnik for a period. Dubrovnik is still very big, but Split has become the hub. So tourism spreading out from Split airport, and it's very popular.
And what do you think Norwegians like the most about Croatia when they come here?
The most go, of course, because of the climate, because it's a safe country. That's very important, and because of nature. Because if you see where people are going, they are spreading all over when they're coming, landing in Split, or if you are in Dubrovnik, you are mainly in Zavtat or Dubrovnik. But if you are in Split, you are spreading out to different places, to the islands. The islands are very popular among Norwegians. Unfortunately, they have not discovered the hinterland yet, but that's a huge potential. Of course, the kind of relaxed atmosphere you have in Croatia, which is also very attractive. So if you combine safety, security, climate, and nature, and this relaxed atmosphere, that's the package.
Yes, and you have that package with success. So it's no secret that the Scandinavian countries, I would say, especially Norway, are one of the most successful countries in Europe and further. What do you think Croatia could do to become more successful?
I don't think there exists a playbook which we could sell and use. There are so many reasons. Because this is not a quick fix, it's come over years, tens of years. But if I should say something on this, 1990s is a very decisive period where Norway changed a lot, took a big leap in modernization and everything, and here it was quite different. So I think that explains something, that when we jumped, you had the problems. And that's a different kind of point of departure.
But we don't have problems, at least not that kind of problems now. So what do you think we can learn from?
No, it's not about something specific. I think what is good is what we have started on, working together, experts, businesses, partly competing, partly cooperating. That is what to learn, because this is not learning from one, it's learning from each other. And if you are not cooperating, then you get stupid, because nobody knows everything.
Of course.
And that is the whole essence of these programs we have as well, to set up partnerships between schools, judiciary. When we are now investing in this big new building in Split, it's because it's a cooperation between judiciary in Norway and judiciary in Croatia. So this is all about exchange of knowledge.
So cooperation is very important. That's why you're here, one of the reasons. And what do you think, both as an ambassador, as private person, regular citizen, about Croatia? Do you like our food, our music? You already said about music.
Yes, of course. And as I visited this country first time in 1974, and have continued to come back with family and everything for all years, partly for job, often for vacation and things. Of course, I like it because otherwise I would not come back. And that includes the whole package for me, as for most others. This package of this atmosphere, the food included, culture, everything. So yes, it's easy to like this.
And how about the climate?
Climate, of course, that's also good. But if I should say, the biggest difference is the spring and the autumn.
In what ways?
In Croatia. That means, or what should we say, March to May, June, that's perfect period. September, October, it's a perfect period. And that's when, because summer is very hot, last summer was terrible, but Norway can also be hot. Summer is nice. Really? Winter is colder, but autumn starts much earlier in Norway, But here you have the perfect temperature, perfect weather, September, October, favorite period, or spring. So if I should say, climate-wise, yeah, this is my favorite.
Okay, honest enough. We are near the end of the show. I would like to ask you, what do you think about Croatian people? It's no secret that the Scandinavians are more reserved, perhaps, and we are said to be more relaxed and have easygoing lifestyle. Do you find it?
Yes, that's a part of it, but you know, most often I don't like to say about this is a Norwegian, this is a Swede, this is a Croatian, because we are so different. But it's something in common. Then you have the regional differences. If you are in the east of this country, it's not the same as being in Dalmatia. Like in the north of Norway, it's not the same as being in the south of Norway. But the atmosphere is more relaxed. I love working from cafes. And that's perfect when you are in Croatia.
And you can do that in Norway, or is it?
It's not that typical. They are more, of course, you go to a cafe, but it's more the meeting. Here I think I have most of my meetings on cafes over a cup of coffee. That's perfect with me.
We do everything over a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And the last question, but not the least, is of course about sport. Congratulations on winning the Women's Handball Championship, European Championship. The girls were amazing. And do you know some Croatian athletes? And would you perhaps be cheering for Croatia on this ongoing World Cup?
Yes, of course, I was cheering for Croatia, and I mean the lucky position that Norway is not there. They didn't qualify.
Sorry.
So in a football, you are way ahead of us. But yes, that's of course I think everyone are kind of amazed about Croatian. Yeah, you are good in all kind. Where you get a ball, you are good. But especially the football, where you have managed over all these 30 years to be on the top in Europe and in the world, and even regardless of the first match in the World Championship, managed in a way to come up with a new generation, and that's really amazing.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best in your future work and career.
Thank you so much.
Poštovani gledatelji, došli smo do kraja još jedne emisije. Ostanite uz program televizije Jadran i do sljedećeg susreta. Lijep pozdrav!